The theater was alive with an electricity that only a night of dreams could bring. Bright lights painted the stage in gold, the audience murmured with anticipation, and the judges sat ready, their pens poised not just to critique, but to discover. Among the hundreds of hopefuls waiting backstage, one young man stood quietly in the corner. His name was Ethan, a boy with a voice no one had truly heard. Ethan wasn't the kind who drew attention. His shoes were worn, his shirt slightly faded, and his hands trembled as he held a microphone close to his chest. He had grown up in a small town, far away from glittering stages and roaring crowds. His mother worked double shifts at a diner, and his father, a musician, had passed away when Ethan was just 9. The only thing his father left behind was an old guitar and a whisper of a dream: never be afraid to let the world hear your song. For years, Ethan played that guitar on his porch, singing quietly into the night. Neighbors sometimes stopped, mesmerized by the raw emotion in his voice, but Ethan himself never believed he was extraordinary. To him, music wasn't about fame, it was about survival, about healing wounds too deep for words. Now, standing backstage at the world's biggest talent show, his mother's words echoed: "You're not here to win. You're here to share your heart. If even one person feels less alone because of your song, then you've already succeeded." When the stagehand called his name, Ethan took a deep breath and walked into the blinding light. The crowd quieted, the judges looked up, sizing him in an instant. He didn't look like a superstar, he looked like a boy who had been through storms and carried them in his eyes. "Tell us about yourself," one judge asked. Ethan cleared his throat. "My name is Ethan. I'm 19. I've been singing since I was a kid. Music is how I remember my dad. He always told me to sing even when life gets hard." A hush fell. There was something disarming about his honesty. "And what will you be singing for us tonight?" He gripped the microphone tighter. "A song I wrote, for him." The first note was soft, almost fragile, but it carried through the hall like a secret finally set free. His voice wasn't polished by training, nor decorated with theatrics, it was pure, raw, and drenched in emotion. Each lyric painted a picture of a boy sitting on his porch, waiting for a father who never came home, yet holding on to hope that love never dies. The crowd leaned forward, breaths caught in their throats. Judges exchanged glances, their professional armor slowly breaking. And then, halfway through the song, something unexpected happened. Ethan's voice cracked. For a split second, the world seemed to pause. He lowered his gaze, his hand shaking. It was the kind of moment when most contestants collapse under pressure. But then, from the silence, a sound rose. Someone in the audience began clapping softly, then another, then dozens more. Ethan looked up, tears in his eyes, and continued singing with a strength that seemed to come not from him, but from every soul cheering him on. The final note rang out, echoing like a prayer. Ethan stood frozen, chest heaving, afraid of the silence that followed. Then the theater erupted. Cheers, whistles, people on their feet, clapping until their hands hurt. One of the judges, a woman known for her tough critiques, wiped tears from her eyes. She leaned toward her microphone. "Ethan," she said, her voice trembling, "you didn't just sing. You reminded us why music exists. It's not about perfection, it's about connection, and tonight, you connected with the world." She stood, reached across the desk, and slammed her hand onto the golden buzzer. In an instant, golden confetti rained down from the ceiling, shimmering like starlight. Ethan dropped to his knees, overwhelmed, his face buried in his hands. The audience screamed louder, chanting his name, as if the entire world had chosen to lift him up at once. Backstage, his mother cried uncontrollably, clutching the locket that held her late husband's picture. A stagehand whispered, This is history." The moment traveled beyond the theater. Within hours, Ethan's performance was shared across continents. Millions watched on their phones, laptops, and TVs. A boy who once sang to the night sky in his small town now had the entire globe listening. But what truly shocked the world wasn't just his voice, it was his story, his courage to be vulnerable, his willingness to stand on a stage and show that brokenness can still be beautiful. People from different countries, different languages, flooded the comments. "I lost my dad too. This song healed me. I've never cried so much from a performance. Thank you, Ethan. You reminded me that love never really leaves." Ethan's life transformed overnight. Yet, when asked in interviews what the golden buzzer meant to him, his answer never changed. "It's not about winning, it's about sharing a piece of my heart. If my dad could see me now, I think he'd just smile and say, 'That's my boy.'" Months later, At the finale, Ethan performed again, but this time something even more extraordinary happened. He invited a young girl, 12 years old, who had written to him after his audition saying his song helped her cope with her mother's illness. Ethan brought her onto the stage, gave her the guitar his father once owned, and let her strum the opening chords. The crowd gasped. Judges wiped their eyes. Ethan sang, but he let the girl's small, shaky voice join his. Together, they created a harmony that transcended music. It was hope embodied. The audience rose in unison, not because of fame, but because they had just witnessed the purest form of humanity, sharing, healing, lifting one another through art. That night, Ethan didn't just perform. He created a movement. Across the world, people started using the hashtag #SingForSomeone, posting songs dedicated to loved ones they had lost or still cherished. Choirs in schools, families in living rooms, strangers on city streets, all began singing, proving that music is the language that unites us all. And so, the golden buzzer moment that shocked the world wasn't about gold confetti, or fame, or even victory. It was about a boy who dared to be real, who reminded humanity that every voice, no matter how small, can touch hearts across oceans. As Ethan stepped off the stage, confetti still tangled in his hair, he whispered to the sky, "This one's for you, Dad." And somewhere, perhaps in the unseen, his father's voice echoed back, "I hear you, son. The whole world does. Sparkle's closing message for audience. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, your story matters. One act of courage, one song of love, can cross borders and bring the world together. Never doubt the power inside you, because sometimes, the world is just waiting for you to sing.